But I'll still open the sunroof. I'll do that. I do that anyways. I don't care. I don't care if there's no sun out. I'm not sure. I'm on my way to the things. So I'll talk to you till I can not talk no more, because I have other things to do. But I like this style. I like being able to just put on and go. We used to do this when we did the Yogi Taco show, only I'd have a board here and we were holding microphones and we didn't even video it. So a lot of that's just audio only, which is kind of the way that I like to do things anyways. But if you got to look at my big dumb head, you can look at me here on YouTube at Touching Tornadoes is where I'm going to be posting all this stuff, like Touching Tornadoes, Life with the Bipolar Brain, and don't let me hit you. Yo, bitch. She's gonna get scared if I turn around. I don't understand why people do that. You shake a finger at the wrong person, they'll break it off. So I'd keep my fingers to myself. The thing is, I cut my tongue. Sorry, you can look at my dumb head. Sorry, I went through a circle drive there. I was yielded. I yield to what's coming at me. I don't yield to what's in front of me. I don't know why people don't understand that. When you're yielding to not get hit from the side on a circle drive. I'm not yielding to the person to the right of me. That's their fault. Sorry I beat you, you old lady. Was I going too fast? Sorry. I'm not going to Bill Burr you and just get into traffic, but I am driving, so sometimes that happens. But I prefer this. I like this. So I'm going to try to download the videos and also post them as audio podcasts on the places that you find those. So try to find it, support it, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, let's see. Set my cruise control. I cut my tongue. That is where we're at here, okay? This has, I don't think anything to, well, it kind of does, okay? I'm going to relate it back to bipolarity. But, so they say that experts, dietitians, mental health experts, scientists, clergymen, everyone says that carnivore diet or a low-carb diet oftentimes, you know, that can help people who have bipolar disorder. Now, there's been a few times I've tried to do the, you know, don't eat bread, gluten-free. There's all these different variations of the same thing. But the most strict one supposedly is this carnivore one where you're just only eating like beef and meat-based beef, chicken, fish. They probably want you to eat just fish because that's what, it's a leaner, there's no fat. Even though the carnivore thing, they say that the fat is good for you. I don't know. I guess I hear that it's good for your brain. And so in an effort to do everything that I can do, I decided I'd start doing the low carb thing. And then I'm thinking, well, where do you go for lunch? Everybody's always wondering that. Like, if you're going out on your own, I'm not with a group of friends. Otherwise, of course, we just go to Applebee's like everyone does. Get a steak at Applebee's or go to Dave & Buster's. Get a steak in an arcade setting. But no, I was like, I can't do that. I can't go to Applebee's alone. Not again. Because you feel weird when you do that. So I went to a place that no one will find you, dude. IHOP. And I went into an IHOP and I figured I can get steak and eggs, and that's good, you know, for the brain. And they had a sirloin tip and scrambled egg meal. I gotta be honest with you because I'm honest all the time. I did have the hash browns. I told her no hash browns. I was like, I just want the steak tips and eggs, and then just double my eggs, or don't give me anything, but I don't need any bread. She still brought hash browns, but she was such a nice waitress that I was like, who cares, you know? It's nice. Have a little extra hash browns in here, I'll eat it. It's no big deal. I shouldn't have done that, because what happened is On the final bite, which it always is, I guess that's a good thing. The final bite of steak, something chipped my tooth, and it caused a small piece of my tooth to stick out on the side, the back. And that's why I'm talking all messed up. It's not just that I'm a messed up person. So when that little chip come out of my tooth, my tongue has been scratching that side of my tooth for 3 days now, and it is devastatingly painful. I don't know who are, like, if we come from monkeys eat sticks, that's evolution talk. I don't believe, it doesn't matter. It's just so insane to me that the amount of pain that you can get on something inside of your mouth in comparison to where I stab my thumb, I don't know if you can see that, with a screwdriver, no pain at all in comparison. Like, I would take a stab from a screwdriver in both hands long before I take cutting my tongue again, but that's where I'm at. So I'm told my wife I'm gonna just do shakes. I can kind of drink from a straw, although you don't realize how much you use the entire part of your tongue. And it makes, so, for diet, it makes eating beef, teeth and your tongue don't work, makes eating beef extremely difficult, And I know IHOP is known for their tenderness when it comes to steak, obviously. But I caught a bad piece at an IHOP. It's not going to deter me, though. I'm going to continue, because here's what I like about going to IHOP at 2 in the afternoon, to stick to a diet. There's no one there. It's still breakfasty. Like, no matter what time you go to IHOP, you get that, how when you're at home and somebody's like, so you're not eating bread? What do you want for dinner then? And it feels weird to cook eggs at night. Well, at IHOP, you don't have to worry about it. You go in, it's like, it's breakfasty, it doesn't matter what time of day it is. Can I get steak and eggs? Nobody thinks you're weird. So I'm going to keep going there, but I got to tell you, the side of my mouth is killing me. And I should go to a dentist. I haven't been to a dentist since 2008. So if you would do that math, that's 18 years. And I plan on going. I mean, but the guy that I went to died. That's no shit. But I do plan on going. I don't know. It's like, at this point, after 18 years, it's like joining the army, I got to talk to my parents about it, which that's trouble. So, the only thing I got going on right now, I'll just talk a little bit about my bipolar, a little bit more, my last manic episode. Today is a day, for those of you who have had an episode, this is a day of reckoning that I get to go out, because during my episode, not only did I traded in one of my vehicles on a new vehicle. Now that wasn't that big a deal, because it was talked about and it was planned. And then I wanted to trade in and get my wife something. And that was actually okay too, except for I got her something that was way too expensive. And then the reaction of it, and then also the fact that spending that kind of money and committing to something was a trigger for me, and then a lot of other triggers happened too. I was kicked into mania before I could really understand that I just bought a couple trucks. I mean, I understood I bought them, and then mania happened. Once in mania, there was a moment where I locked the keys in my truck that I just bought, got pissed off. I thought that my wife and everybody was like controlling the key fob thing, because it was a new truck and you can like control it from your phone. So I thought that they were like locking me out of it. So I got pissed off and I just walked to my bank, closed my accounts, took all my money out, and then took out some cash, and I walked to a car dealership and I bought another truck, which I'm currently driving. It's a beautiful truck, except for I probably didn't need to do this way. Definitely didn't need to do it this way, but you know, I can't go back in the past. That's one thing that sucks. You can't go back in the past and fix it, you know? So you just have to fix this shit in the present. And so what I got going on is I'm pulling into the town now that I bought this truck from, and I got to do like this whole negotiation deal thing, and it's already tough dealing with a car dealership when you have all the chips in your hand, but when you are on the other end of it, when you're walking in and you're on the receiving end of it, you're just looking for some help. I don't know, dog. So that's the stuff I got going on. So the tornado that I touched in my last mania, the least of it, probably the least scariest thing, was buying trucks. You know what I'm saying? So, and it's hard to explain to people, even a therapist, because you could say, hey, last time you were manic, you bought 3 new vehicles. And they would be right. But I didn't do that all because I was manic, you know. And in fact, I needed a new truck for the job that I do for a living. And I didn't need a new truck, but I needed a replacement truck. And then I needed something to drive to and from that. Now, if I wasn't manic, I would have just used one of my other old vehicles and put 1 billion miles on it. It already had 300,000 miles on it. So it's like, I'm just sick of it, though. You know, it's like, there's one thing that I do believe, and I keep it. That's why I'm riding in the truck I'm in now, and I'm willing to deal with this shit like I'm willing to deal with it, and not just say, throw my hand up and say, fuck it, which part of me wants to. It's that, dude, if my job sucks, which it's my job. I mean, like, I create my job, meaning I'm an outdoor, I do landscaping and lawn work and groundskeeping, and I got commercial groundskeeping, and I have a couple big contracts that I do, but it's like, if you gotta work picking up trash all day, which is what I do for a living, and you gotta drive a crappy truck, which is what I was doing for a long time, it's just, you gotta drive a crap truck while you're doing it, and then you gotta get into another crappy vehicle to drive the hour home. You never get out of crap, and you feel like you're in crap all the time. And so it's like, yeah, dude, I did buy myself a decent truck to drive to and from work. I'm sorry, and I did do it, and I probably did it under a manic brain, you know, because of just the spending the money kicks me into mania, or it did. But I wasn't on the right medication either. I mean, we talked about that, or I talked about that on a previous show. I'm on a new medication, specifically designed, you know, an antipsychotic to keep me from going up that high and to getting into my delusions and stuff. But we'll see if I think it's working. I am talking to you, right? No, just kidding. But I am pulling into town, so wish me luck when it comes to this vehicle trade, and wish me luck when it comes to this stupid thing I got in my mouth. I'll let you know if... I don't know how to tell somebody other than that you know, the problem with bipolar is, even if you go change your diet and you work on your inner work, your meditation, your stuff that you got to do, you know what I mean, your therapy stuff to remind you of that you are you, and you are valued, and you are important, and you are not this disease and all. You know, there's lots of therapy that goes into this stuff. For me, at least for me, it does, to help me cope with the things I've lost because of it. You know what I mean? So just think of I don't know. Understand that I have no way, if I go on carnivore, I really don't have any way of telling somebody if it works for me or if it's better for me. You know what I mean? Like, unless you just don't have an episode. And I hope no matter what, you kind of hope you never have another episode if you're like me. So anyways, I'm pulling off the highway now. I'm getting into my place. So with that being said, I got to end this. Don't be touching any tornadoes out there. Have a good day. Be good to yourself. Don't let your meat loaf.